Hi everyone, this is Bobby from bn-games.com, and we're here doing another classic capture. Today we are doing Sonic Adventure for the Sega Dreamcast, launch title.
Sega.
Launch title, you say?
Yes.
Yes, this was one of the very first games on the Dreamcast. Also, one of the very first game I owned on the Dreamcast when I bought mine when it launched.
Hence, launch title.
Yes.
Some would argue this is where Sonic went wrong. I disagree.
I think this is where Sonic evolved.
This game is a love-hate depending on what generation you're from. A lot of people hated this game, although it was reviewed really well when it came out, but it kind of, a couple of reviewers, I remember reading some articles later that they reviewed it higher because it was definitely different and higher quality than
anything before.
Well, yeah, it was on the verge of it, but a lot of people give this game a lot of crap, and it's actually, I think it's a fairly solid game as long as you play as Sonic or Tails.
I mean, I mean, even with some of the other characters, I mean, once you've completed a couple, then it becomes like a little tedious to get to the end or get all the endings.
It actually becomes very hard to argue with them when it comes to Big the Cat.
Yeah.
And that right there is chaos, and I remember seeing that, and I was like, holy
I remember the first
shit.
time you play that boss battle, I'm just like, honestly, this was, in my opinion, one of the best games on the Dreamcast. I mean, graphically, even by like today's standards, it's a very good-looking game.
It still holds up, I think, visually in many ways. Like I said, a lot of people would argue this, and there are people watching this thinking, "Wow, you guys are deluded." No, it's not. It was a very good game for its time. It's still fairly decent when you play as Sonic.
And this was the actual reason why I even bought a Dreamcast in the first place. I mean, when I seen the first promo trailer for this, I mean, I had to have a Dreamcast.
I also have to say that the soundtrack wasn't half bad.
Yeah, no, especially the boss theme. That was actually, I remember just listening to that through the Dreamcast music mode, which was one of the things I loved about the Dreamcast. You could actually use the games as music CDs.
That's a feature we need back.
Yeah, definitely.
Flashy.
Select a memory card.
You know what this also had that was fairly.
Select a file.
It was more tech demolition than anything else, but you had
Chow
Chows with the memory card. And you could you could go to Chow Garden.
Well, there was actually, I think there was too many games in this one. I forget what the other one, but I think it had to do with Rob.
Select a character.
Well, it was very specifically the Chow thing was.
I can't even get the Chow thing to work right though. That is one thing, because I did try it with my BMU and I never quite got it to work just right.
Now, if there's one thing that this game suffers, but I think it suffered. Well, let's say a lot of games did. Up until fairly recently, it has some of the worst voice acting of all time. Oh.
Yeah, definitely.
And this looks really stiff, and this doesn't hold up so well. But this is.
Hey, people like walking extremely slow.
And stiff. With like a stick up their ass.
How do you know they don't have a stick up their ass?
Well, they hate.
I mean, that guy was in a brown suit. I see people in brown suits, I automatically think they got a stick up their ass.
I think it's not as bad as people make it out to be.
Damn it, I'm already.
See, I automatically think this game got a little bad because, I mean, it was putting Sonic in a city setting where you'd never quite really seen him.
What's up?
But you also got to remember that Sonic was going from running around.
What's wrong with his face?
There's nothing wrong with his face.
What's wrong with your face?
Well, then that scientifically, I can answer that everything.
There's nothing wrong with his face.
There's nothing wrong with his
There's
face.
something wrong with him talking.
Yes,
wrong
that's
with
what I'm
his voice.
referring to. With
Oh, you mean the exaggerated mouth opening and everything? This is early, like.
What's that Heartless doing there? What is this Kingdom Hearts?
No, it just came out like 10 years before.
Oh, okay.
That's Disney stealing from Sega. Like I said,
know why,
voice acting is not good.
I hear the Genova theme running through my head right now.
But, you gotta remember, when this came out, if you weren't there, this was
like
mind-blowing. Yeah, this
About
was...
the same time.
Look, 3D rings, at the time, I was like, what? It was, Look, like I said, there's a love-hate relationship here. It has some problems. There's certain things that definitely don't hold up. It's almost comical when it comes to talking, but when
one of the things, especially like you just said, is that you can kind of compare to some of today's games
Those
is
shiny-ass police
like
cars.
Mario. I mean, the dialogue in a lot of Mario games is kind of written the same way.
Yeah, well...
I mean, you also got to figure. I mean, this game was originally kind of aimed at children.
I think the lesson that should be learned from this is
Keep Sonic dark.
no, go the Link route. Don't have your hero talk. 'Cause then that's a liability. But I remember this right here, just
Where
like
they
this,
did that,
the way the
turned
camera
around.
turned around, and like it was just it was real easy. But, it was innovative for its time. Especially, it was showing off the hardware. I mean, this was not the best Dreamcast could do, but it was damn good. Especially for a launch game. This game came out.
It wasn't even very buggy for being a launch game, too. I mean,
Yeah,
Come on,
this
you
was
big
still
drip.
when developers
Where you
tried to
going?
squash all bugs before release. Remember those days?
when they cared.
Yeah. Before, like now we can just launch a patch every 2 seconds. Like this patch fixes this patch.
It's like, oh, game got released, patch it.
Yeah.
Like 1201, patch it.
I don't know. I still like this game. I still like how it controls from Sonic and Tails' perspective. Big the Cat is, Big the Cat. And Knuckles is annoying little mini games.
I will say, I do like the voice for Robotnik. 'cause
Amy is
I
crap.
believe that is the same one from the original cartoon.
Oh, and the robot. Actually, I like the little robot.
E102?
sections.
Yeah, I liked
He wasn't too bad.
what's it gonna call him?
This right here, Marco.
Oh God, no.
Marco, this is Marco's favorite part of the
Sonic.
Son of a
game.
I'm just
bitch.
lounging.
Just
lounging
Sonic,
back.
don't ever talk. Tails, especially you.
What? Tails?
God damn it.
Here it comes.
Watch out! You're gonna crash! Ah!
What's wrong with his face?
I always used to like
Tails.
that you could swim.
Now, what am I gonna do with you?
It's like,
No,
you're supposed to mortally hate water, but you could so easily jump in the pool.
Hey, you go in the pool and you bother people.
Yeah, I used to do that all the time.
Yeah, that's what I was doing right here.
So, yeah, hey.
Just.
I didn't like that the spin was quite uncontrollable.
Well, it was controllable. You just had to aim.
No,
right.
once well, that's why you could aim it. And as soon as you were spinning, that was it.
Look, there's a reason why it says Sonic Adventure, not Sonic gonna go through a bunch of levels at the same time.
That would be an interesting title, though, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would have sold, I think. This is the first stage. You're actually going to go find Tails for whatever reason. And I still like this stage.
I like that
I
they
genuinely like this stage. I still think it holds up.
Who was playing this when we recorded this?
I did this. Yeah. I was trying to show off some other stuff. Like I was trying to show that it wasn't just completely linear. Well, in a way it is, but there were some options there. And you play like the newer games, and they're all based off this template. They fail significantly. They don't try to innovate. We're not speaking for Generations yet. Sonic Generations, which is being released or has been released as of this recording, just barely.
No, this is released on Xbox. Controls fail.
Yeah. But for its time, this fucking the whale.
What the fuck was that?
The whale, dude.
This
right
honestly
here,
was,
I remember
my
seeing this-
favorite part of the game.
I remember seeing this at E3 and lost my shit. Was
I honestly
what
didn't
the
think this
fuck
was gonna
is
make it
going
in the game?
on. God damn it! No, Shamu, down, Shamu.
Bad Shamu. Free Willy.
He's been freed and he's become giant. And like I said, it still controls fairly well. I mean, there's some people who dislike the Dreamcast controller. I'm a big defendant of the Dreamcast. There's plenty it did right, and this was fine.
Wearing a Dreamcast too.
I have 2 of them, and I would own 5 of them, tie them together if I could.
Yeah, I honestly, if my Dreamcast ever gave out, because I still have my launch model, I would honestly feel no pain in putting down as much money as I needed to get another one.
It was a little, slightly clunky in little areas, but surprisingly solid. And I still like it. I will still play this.
You really have to also give it to them. I mean, this is their first attempt at making what was normally a 2D level with all the different ways that you could pass it and all that into a 3D environment.
Yeah, especially considering the fact that they were trying to emulate the feeling of the 2D environment in a 3D
In 3D
space.
setting, yeah.
You know, it's got it doesn't fail. It does well in certain respects. I mean, it's just pretty solid. I mean, I don't keep saying that, and I say this because there's some really dejectors for this, and I don't get it. I don't think there's any reason to be so down on it. It was an excellent game for its time, and I know the newer stuff was bad, especially like the 2006 release that was on the PS3 and Xbox 360. Yeah, that was horrible, but this still works. As long as you're playing Sonic and Tails, let me re-emphasize it.
Not bad.
And so that's the first level, and Tails is going to come out, and you're like, Tails, why'd you crash?
I got a Chaos Emerald. I just jacked it from a bank.
I like how the Chaos Emerald's like huge.
Hey, Sonic! Long time no see, huh?
Did not long enough.
I'm just glad you're okay. What happened anyway?
Well, everybody,
Why didn't the crash shut you?
Just crashed like that.
why did he kill him?
Why isn't he going to the hospital?
Why is he fly when he flies? Why?
You
You can go on.
Why
and on
not
and
just use my plane, the tornado?
All right, everyone. Well, this was a classic capture for Sonic Adventure launch title on the Sega Dreamcast. Still holds up pretty well, pretty cheap. You can get it for $10 to $15 in good condition.
Damn it.
Emerald.
Yeah. Wow. And so please subscribe. Let us know what you think, even if you disagree with me. Thank you.
This thing's got unlimited power, So I figured, why not use it to power my plane? Supercharged! You gotta come over to my workshop, Sonic. I've got something I've gotta show you. It's in the Mystic Ruins. The fastest way is by train. Let's go!